Hi, my name is Audrey B. Torres. I'm the Resiliency Coordinator for the City of Newark Office of Sustainability and Solar One. And today we are at Hope Village 2 having our 7th out of 8th emergency preparedness event. So today we are showcasing our emergency solar charger that allows residents to have access to supplemental power during a state of emergency and on a day-to-day basis to be able to charge our medical devices as well as small electronics. And today we're activating the space by having free food hosted or catered by Nadine's Place, music by Grounded Music Education, as well as many of our emergency preparedness service providers such as University Hospital, Southward Environmental Alliance, the Essex County Sheriff's Office of Emergency Management, Operation Hope, the Newark Green Team, City of Newark Department of Health, and so many more amazing tabling services. And this is all made possible through the City of Newark by way of NOAA.
Yeah, so I'm with Solar One, an environmental education nonprofit, and we're partnering with the Newark Office of Sustainability to host 8 emergency preparedness events. And we're here at Hope Village 2 today to raise awareness with the community about what to do if there is an emergency. So if there's flooding or power outage, where you can go to get resources. We had a group of high school interns from the local Newark Public School build solar chargers that the community can use when there's a power outage.
All right, so this is a solar charger. Me and 5 other interns built 8 of these to give to different organizations around the Newark community in all 5 wards. And this basically serves the purpose of being an emergency alternative, like solution to providing a power source in case you need to charge any small device such as a phone, tablet, radio, like a small radio, or like a little laptop. And it's mainly used when there are tropical like storms, say a storm, a flood, power outage, such as like Hurricane Sandy. This basically is what you'd use just in case you need to charge a small device to call, say, emergency services or maybe the police. And these are in several, little stations such as this farm right here, and scattered all across the ward in case you ever need it. It's served to the public, for public use. And if you guys want to get closer for me to describe like exactly what's in the box, feel free. If anyone, I don't know if you guys can see like inside the box. So just to start the explanation, this is a solar module. This takes in direct sunlight, which then is transferred into electricity inside this box, which then travels through these wires into the black box inside, which is waterproof, specifically in case any storm water tries to get in or any leaves and stuff like that. And I don't know if anyone can see inside the box, but there are 3 breaker boxes basically used to serve the purpose of preventing any fires from destroying the actual charger itself, the inside properties. There is another component called the solar charge controller that helps limit the amount of electricity being transferred through the wiring so that this thing doesn't explode. Obviously the 2 batteries are lead acid batteries, so they kind of look like car batteries, but they only serve enough electricity to charge small devices realistically. And there's another component called the inverter that basically is something that you see in every single home that you have in all outlets, allowing you to charge any, like just basically any device or connect any electrical device at all, such as a TV, allowing you to send electricity back into the box, but also out this tube, which allows you to then charge a small device through these 3 outlets right here.
And we are about to host a youth environmental leader panel on climate impacts and environmental justice.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this important event focusing on climate literacy, environmental justice, and the use of solar technology for emergency preparedness. My name is Zainab Adigon, and I am honored to be a moderator for today's panel. We're thrilled to be hosting this event at Hope's Village, Newark, New Jersey, a city that exemplifies both the challenges and opportunities in our fight for environmental justice. Our goal today is to empower our community with the knowledge and tools needed to enhance our resilience and sustainability. Throughout the morning, we have had various interactive workshops and demonstrations, and now we're excited to dive into our panel discussion. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and thank our esteemed panelists who have taken their time to share their insight and experience with us today. Each of them brings a unique perspective and a wealth of knowledge in their respective fields.
Hi, my name's Kani, and joining us on the panel today is Bilal Walker, a dedicated leader working with youth and managing several community gardens in Newark. Braithwaite, an advocate for environmental and social justice. Obed Tabora, a talented intern representing Arts High School who has been an asset in our resilient solar internship and has helped to spread awareness about climate literacy and emergency preparedness across all 5 of our wards. We will begin our discussion by exploring the journey of our panelists and what inspired them to get involved in environmental justice and sustainability. Following this, we will delve into the critical issues of community gardens, youth involvement, and the practical applications of solar technology during emergencies. Finally, we will open the floor to your questions to foster a dynamic and engaging conversation. We encourage everyone to participate, ask questions, and share your thoughts during the Q&A session. This is a unique opportunity to learn from each other and build a stronger, more resilient community. With that, let's get started. Bilal Walker, can you share your journey and what inspired you to get involved in environmental justice and sustainability?
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. I see you all if I've met you before. I got involved in environmental justice, working in urban garden spaces with other community organizers, and really gained just a broader idea of what environmental justice was from different community-based organizations and the leaders who were kind of championing some of the work related to like lead, food justice, pollution. So there are a few organizations around the city that I've gained a lot of knowledge from and who are hyper connected to environmental justice, like Ironbound Community, like Newark Science and Sustainability, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, lots of organizations in the city that are doing the work, and that you could get some broader information about environmental justice from.
Thank you. Obed, what about you?
Well, good morning, everyone. To be honest, I think I was a freshman. I was looking for like a job and stuff. I had no idea about climate change. I didn't know nothing about this. But like ever since I started, I was like, wow, I really like this. You know, this is for the better, for our community, for the city, Newark, New Jersey, for the whole world. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is X and I'm the Environmental Justice Organizer for Clean Water Action. And I got started more so on the organizing side and not necessarily environmental side. I started organizing in high school at Science Park. I'm a Newark resident. I organized with the Newark Students Union to fight for local control of our schools. And that was around the time Roger Leone became superintendent. So my senior year was when we actually got the change. And then I went to Guilford College in North Carolina, where I majored in community and justice studies and African American studies, whole lot. And at the same time, I was also a Bonner Scholar, which was basically a program that gave underprivileged students the opportunity to go to school for free if they did a certain number of community service hours every year. So I've worked in refugee and immigrant studies. I've worked in studies on the school to prison pipeline. And then eventually I just knew I wanted to be an organizer. So I graduated last year, class of 2023, and I started organizing. I started as an environmental justice organizer with Clean Water Action. And then when I got into my role is really when I understood what environmental justice meant. It means that everybody, you know, regardless of your race, gender, class, etc., deserves a free space to play, recreate, and live. We all deserve to breathe clean air, drink clean water, etc. So yeah, that's when I started learning.
Thank you.
X, how do community gardens contribute to environmental justice in overburdened cities like Newark?
Yes. So I actually had to do a little research to answer this question, and I learned a whole lot about the history of community gardens and specifically how it related to the way that people of color use space as an act of resistance. So I started looking into the history of it, and apparently, you know, during times of slavery, enslaved people would make community gardens at night to feed and sustain their family, you know, with the little they had. And then during the civil rights movement, community gardens were actually used as a place of organizing and resistance. So like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, etc., they were using these community spaces to build resistance. And now, you know, I think about all the community gardens around Newark and what they're doing, what the people who, you know, even started the idea of taking vacant lots and turning them into beautiful spaces. What they basically wanted to create there is a place for community to come without, you know, the concrete, right, or the air pollution, the noise pollution, etc. I think that community gardens are, one, a place of togetherness, community, etc., but also a place where we can reclaim the land that we're on, you know, polluting facilities, air quality, etc. Facilities chose to put themselves here, right? And what we can do as a community is combat that by just being empathetic and gentle with one another, you know, and that means starting from a place of literally growing things together. I think that's really powerful. Like, I visited the Rabbit Hole Farm, and my brother, he goes to Hawthorne Avenue School, and there's a community garden right next to them. So even, you know, the places where we don't see gardening happening much, you know, that's where we really need our kids, our students to be learning from, that we can learn to, I guess, process our own land and live sustainably. Yeah.
Thank you. Obed, can you discuss the role of youth in driving environmental change and why it is important to engage them?
Well, that's a good question. Well, I believe, you know, it's good to have the youth engaged in stuff like this and climate change. Excuse me. Well, as I was saying, right, I believe that it's good to have the youth because we're the future generation, you know. We're the ones who are going to take in charge, you know, go in the future ahead. We got to be ready, you know, for the problems we're going to face, you know, the climate change. And it's good to let us know about emergency preparedness, you know. Because right now, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on around the world, and a lot of the people don't know about it. You know, a lot of the people are not aware of what's going on. So if we let the youth know, you know, kids in high school and schools, let them know what's going on, it's going to be good, you know, and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say how highly intelligent these young people are. If we could just give them a round of applause. The thoughtfulness and intentionality that they share with their responses is just amazing. How is it important for youth to get involved? I mean, this young sister here, a young person here at the far end, remind me of your name? X. This young person here is traveled and went to college and gaining real world experience and is passionate about the work. This young brother here is doing the same because people are affording them opportunity. We have community-based organizations who want to give young adults the opportunity to conduct research, community mapping, engage in like project planning. That's real world experience. That's what's going to set them up for success, to be like change agents. We don't need young people who passively want to follow the directions of adults without any type of critical thinking. And unfortunately, I think our school systems have set our young people up to believe that if they can pass a test, then they're going to be successful and their life is going to be sustainable. And I can say as an educator for over 9 years here in the city that the most resilient young people are the ones who are willing to ask questions and those who are willing to take risk in their like development. So if sustainability is an issue, rightfully so, young people should be leading the cause on it. We have to train our young people to take charge of the communities that they live in, and it doesn't need to be something that we always have to have so much control over. I think building capacity for young people to lead their own projects, and of course there's going to be some frameworks that they need to follow, but these young interns have taken time to visit different garden sites and conduct research and to do community mapping and write narratives. I don't see why we shouldn't have more programs like this happening across the city. I'm sure they are happening. They probably surely need to be publicized more. There needs to be more funding contributed to youth projects. So if there's any means of supporting that, I certainly would like to see more young people engaged in sustainability. I will say, since urban gardens was mentioned, that there, of course, are over 60 gardens or farms in the city, most of them managed by the City of Newark's Office of Sustainability and Adopt a Lot program, which is also a part of the city's property management office. And so there's a wealth of places you can visit to learn how to grow food, understand nutrition from a farm to table perspective, and then generally the sustainability portion of it. You see the work happening right now. Young people are building out solar panels, and they're training members of the community that have access to the solar panels and know what to do with them, and giving them guidance. I think we should see a lot more of this, and it should be more publicized. Maybe take the young people out the classroom more, less like direct instruction in front of a teacher, and more like go into the community and like make change.
Thank you so much. So, I have a question. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in your work, and how do you overcome them?
Thank you. So I would second a lot of what my friend just said. What's your name again, Bilal? Bilal? Okay, Bilal. First, I think it's the lack of investment in communities like Newark. I know for a while now, industry has come and built things and even torn them down, and now there's big buildings here and nothing to put on them because they're now known contaminated sites of air pollution or water pollution, etc. So I would say the apathy from facilities and polluters, is what I struggle with on a daily basis. I actually work on the environmental justice law, which is one of the most progressive environmental laws in the country right now, specifically in New Jersey, that lets the Department of Environmental Protection deny or reject any permits of facilities that will cause a disproportionate impact on the community. So like, the Covanta facility, for example, their expansion or a new facility being brought up in the South Ward, etc. So I would say first off the apathy of facilities, but then what I use to combat that is just, the power of community. In Jersey City, for example, I had a polluting facility coming up for a renewal of their permit right next to Liberty State Park, and they had all these violations, and the community didn't know about them, basically. So I contacted Sustainable Jersey City, the Friends of Liberty State Park, the council, etc. And we basically formed an action plan to hold them accountable. The first step is making the polluters meet with the community again, right? They had a first meeting and only 2 people showed up, me and another person. So we wrote a council resolution requesting that they do it again, and now we're in the middle of that process. And the second thing, a second barrier, I don't say challenge maybe, but a second barrier to my work would definitely be what I would like to call like oppression fatigue, right? Like people have to deal with the impacts of colonialism, racism, etc. on a daily basis, and sometimes they don't have the privilege to think about their lived environment. Like, why are there so many sidewalks, or why is the air quality so bad, right? 1 in 4 NEWARK children have asthma, right? But when we start thinking about what that means, okay, one of your kids have asthma and you still have to work every day, so you're not thinking about air quality on, you know, a state level, and that's what I'm here for. But yeah, the lack of community engagement through oppression fatigue is something that I really struggle with, because I don't want loving your environment to feel like extra work for people. You know, I want to be a facilitator to where people take privilege and pride in trying to reimagine their communities, instead of just looking at all the problems around it and being like, this is how it was forever, you know. So just getting that community engagement up. Thank you.
Thank you. Obed, how can solar technology be effectively used during emergencies to support communities?
Good question. Well, solar energy can be used, right? Let's say there's a thunderstorm, right? There's no electricity in your house, and NEWARK, something happened. We can use solar energy. Like my coworker Nick was saying, we can use the solar charge. You know, use the sun from the energy, so we can use it and charge our stuff. You know, like it will be better for the environment, from the earth. You know, we will not be burning fossil fuels, we will not be sending greenhouse gases emissions into the atmosphere, and it will help like the oxygen, our air quality. Like what's your name again? X, like she was saying like the air quality is not good. Like, you know, a lot of kids in NEWARK have asthma and stuff like that. If we use more solar energy, you know, that will help, you know, help NEWARK. That's why I'm really into it now. I know I'm still young and stuff, I'm growing, I'm knowing more, I'm learning every day, but I really think this is gonna be the better. Thank you.
Thank you.
I definitely agree with the air quality. Mr. Bilal, what are some practical steps individuals can take to enhance their own climate literacy and preparedness?
I think it has to start with That's a great question. I would say it has to start in school, but I think the more practical things can be taught at home, just about sustainability, like not letting the water run, turning off the electricity if you're not using it, composting. You know, very simple things that I think can go a long way. Maybe using, you know, things that are recyclable, upcycling, thrifting. Like, we don't always have to go and purchase brand new clothes. Like, we actually have quality clothes in a lot of like Salvation Armies, and I spend a lot of time thrifting. I think that's a great thing that can be taught in the home. It's like, yo, they're reusable things. Like, we're a global community, and so when someone no longer wants something, we don't have to treat it like it's trash. We could actually maybe barter and share something that you have and exchange it. You know, I think that goes a long way. Just teaching young people the power of like community and collaboration, and us being like collectively responsible. There's a collective responsibility that we have as a human, regardless of ethnicity, faith, how you look, you know, where you come from. On a very like fundamental level, we should all take care of one another and take the proper steps to taking care of the earth. I would think though, you know, a lot of it could be taught in schools a lot more. I don't really remember, I'm 32, I don't remember in high school learning about recycling as much. Like, I feel like you all get a wealth of like exposure to sustainability. I don't really remember much after chemistry, so I can't say that in high school or in middle school there was anyone really teaching us about how to like take care of the earth, or how to be collaborative, or pushing concepts of like community building. That was a little foreign at least in my science classes. I might have learned about it, kind of in social studies, more of like on a social aspect. But if we could, really do more project-based learning and teach young people these concepts, and I'm not talking about in high school, I'm talking about, kindergarten, exposing children to this type of literacy, giving them access to projects, and building it, increasing the rigor as young people try to navigate the education system. I think it's important. But I wouldn't say solely rely on schools. We know that the education system is flawed. If we rely entirely on schools, I don't think we're going to get the results that we're looking for. We need community leaders who want to shepherd young adults and teach them about sustainability. We need community-based organizations that want to have programs after school, on the weekends, where they can gain access to this type of learning. Like, it has to be everywhere all the time. I think it needs to be in the media more too. As a community, like, I think we should be talking about the state of the earth a lot more. What are the things that we're struggling with, and investing in climate literacy. That's something we see more broadly on social media. Things we see more broadly and on our televisions. I think it's good.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Bilal. I definitely think it should be brought into the classroom more. Like, they should be workshops or something to teach young adults on what's going on in the world right now.
Thank you. X, how do you see the relationship between environmental justice and broader social justice issues?
Thank you. So I see it in a lot of ways. Like I said, I started broadly with like refugee studies, gender studies, black studies, etc. But when I really got into this role, I started understanding just like the connectedness of public health and the environment. So for example, the Southward Environmental Alliance was founded by Kim Gaddy, who, developed a passion for environmental justice just because her kids, all of her kids had asthma, right? And now they're doing air monitoring around Newark, etc. And actually, I became the co-chair of the Environmental Justice Committee of the Newark NAACP because the NAACP officially recognizes environmental justice as a civil rights issue because race is one of the first indicators of if you live next to a site of pollution, a known contaminated site, and then the second, directly after is class. But yeah, I see the connection in so many ways because not only are our children vulnerable, maternal health is really vulnerable. Some of the toxins in the air can cause gene mutations, they can cause miscarriages, etc. So it really connects to everything, the development of like adolescent brains, and that's why I'm sorry. It turned off again? Okay, for sure, learning in school and just from community organizations straight to students is like an amazing thing, I think. I'm on the Southwood Environmental Alliance's Youth Council, and right now we're actually doing a summer leadership program that trains, young people how to be environmental stewards. We're holding movie nights, etc. And yeah, like you said, it can literally start from any age, right? You can teach your kids about sustainability from the time they're in preschool. I actually, last month, I gave a little demonstration to kindergartners in Jersey City about like how air pollution affects them, and I'm like, how many of you have asthma? Like the half of the class raised their hand, right? And I'm like, do you guys understand what that means? They're like, yeah, some days I get sick and my mom doesn't let me go outside or something like that, right? So I explained like with water and little white beads and then red beads, how the bad air particles can get in your lungs and it can get in your blood. So it's something that, when we teach people, it definitely is something that they'll carry or pick up on, So I think environmental health and social justice are intrinsically intertwined. Your environment, every piece of your environment affects who you are. Like even the noise pollution, right? Noise pollution has a direct correlation to heart attacks in Black and brown communities. So just simply living on a busy street like Elizabeth Avenue could expose you to a whole bunch of things other than just the air quality, etc. Or like the amount of, they call cement streets or surfaces impervious surfaces, right? In New Jersey, like for one city, say, about 30% of it on average is impervious. In Newark, 95% of our surfaces are cemented, and that leads to flooding issues, that leads to housing insecurity, etc. So it really connects to everything, and I could go on for days about it, but I really appreciate that I can take all the issues that I learned about gender, race, etc., and use it as a lens to explain to people how this affects them in their real life.
Thank you so much.
This question is for everyone, right? So, Obaid, starting from you, what future project or initiative are you most excited about?
One of them is trying to go to college for engineering and stuff. You know, in order to build solar chargers, you need engineering and stuff. And so yeah, that's one of the ones I want to start with. Learn about aerospace engineering, about solar engineering and stuff. So I'll be able to help the future and stuff more ahead.
That's amazing to hear. Future projects, so many to name. I really feel like this project here, the Come As You Are Bridge Housing Community, you know, NJIT, all of the stakeholders that contributed to the development of a project that could support our residents without addresses is extremely important. Making use of materials, upcycling, storage containers that are, you know, really used for transporting like large materials and turning it into you know, living space on property that's no longer being used is extremely important. I think we need more of these innovative projects. Tobias Fox's what is that, Garden of Hope on Central Avenue is nearly complete, and I think that's also extremely amazing. He was a gardener utilizing adopt-a-lot property like myself and most of the gardeners in the city, and we leased our properties for $1 per year. So imagine a parcel of land that's city-owned that you lease for $1 per year, and assume all the risk and cost for it. And he's been doing this for about 10 years, and I think just in the last 4 years he's recently acquired his property and has now put like a chicken run, a greenhouse, he's gonna have a farm stand, and it's an amazing step towards the development of our food system, our hyper-local food system here in Newark. If we have 60 gardens, you know, throughout the city, and even a quarter of them are used for like mass, you know, growing or some type of value-added products being made from the produce. Like you just think about your essential oils that can be made, or your juices that can be pressed, and all different types of products that could essentially be in our stores, and you're therefore increasing, you know, the value of the Black and brown dollar in our community, because you got people who have stakeholdership in the process. I don't know how we got to stakeholdership, but yes, I think at the end of it, there's no sustainability in Black and brown communities without our stakeholdership. We have to own. We have to be constantly in a space where we're trying to own and build with each other. And it can't be where community members feel like if I have something and I don't want anybody else to have it. That fear mongering is from like a lack of having a lot. And that's not our fault. I'm not blaming Black and brown people for not having enough resources, but it's time out for allowing other people to come into our communities and have complete autonomy over our welfare and how we live amongst each other. So any projects that you all are working on and they're sustainability related, I would love to hear more, and be able to lend any support possible. There are funds out here for projects. I want to see more youth leading their own projects and getting paid to do it. I want youth to be able to walk away with like some strong stipends, and all of it can't be on the community-based organizations either. You know, these smaller, you know, boutique organizations that are leading a lot of work, sometimes they can't pay you the best, but we still need them. And I applaud you all for always stepping up and being filling in the gap and going through programs. I see someone here with an AmeriCorps shirt on. That's an act of service, to be in AmeriCorps, to be in Teacher Corps, to come back to different communities and serve. And it's not always the best money, but we need more people who want to do the work and who are willing to take what they have and translate it into another program being developed, or sharing their insight with another intern, or becoming a mentor. So I want to see all of your projects. I know everyone here is somehow connected to environmental justice or just care about the earth. So if you have something and you want to share it, I would love to learn more.
Thank you. X, what about you?
Yeah, so I don't have many projects in particular to plug you guys into, but I will say just getting involved in your local community groups will be great. I'm going to put my great friend Sky on the spot. We have Green Fest coming up, and I believe in September, and they have a Green Fest planning committee. Anybody can be on it, you know, community members. We also have a NEWARK Green team, and they host really great events. And I'm looking forward to the investment in sustainability, just their community in general. So, you know, follow the NEWARK Greater Conservancy, follow your community groups that you think are invested in sustainability, and see how you can get involved, you know, because another thing is a lot of places just don't have the time to think about like innovative ideas for sustainability. So for example, I'll just give one. When I was organizing in Greensboro, I learned about this thing called like free market events, where you basically you take stuff that you want, and then you give stuff that you don't need or want anymore. And I replicated that in Jersey City because of a polluting facility over there. And I did it with the council president. I had a workshop where people brought in stuff, they took stuff, and at the end it was an environmental justice component where I told people how to basically get involved. You know, you can start that as a community member, as somebody working for a nonprofit, and you know, it's just about making connections with your neighbors and growing closer with the community you're in.
Thank you. Bilal, how can the community support and get involved with your work and projects?
So, yeah, we have a wealth of volunteer opportunities. I'm gonna pass out my business cards to everyone. I work with a couple of gardeners to manage 2 urban garden spaces. One is in the North Ward on Grafton Avenue, and then the other one is right there across the street. So if anybody wants to tour a garden today, we can check out Eden's Farm, which is a historic farm in the South Ward. That property across the street used to be one parcel initially. It's been in existence for over 10 years. Some people have said as much as 20. And I really just want to thank Keith Hamilton from City's Property Management. He used to be highly involved in the garden spaces and the adopt-a-lots, and he was really intentional about trying to find someone to manage the property, as it had been vacant for at least 5 years up until the last 4. As myself and others have been managing it. And so we post our volunteer opportunities online. It is, you know, strenuous really to maintain 2 green spaces. It's hot. There's, you know, different levels of work that you have to engage in to ensure that you're producing crops. And then on the other end, we have to run programming consistently. None of our properties really on the adopt-a-lot are in the safest of neighborhoods. I mean, to full transparency, like there's a lot going on in this neighborhood, but we're making active steps by, you know, one, taking the best use of this space for the use of our residents without addresses. 2, having wellness and green spaces in neighborhoods like this does promote community autonomy and cooperation, and therefore deters crime, and then we have officials and the local police department who come and get engaged in the different projects that we do at the garden, herbalism workshops, urban gardening 101, things with essential oils, all types of different projects, and then just showing up and, you know, just joining our programming. All of our programming is cost free, so if you go onto our website and you see a program that interests you, please sign up because we'd love to have you.